the dragon of Chelm. So, in the town of Chelm, as I've already shown from my other story, there are the wise men of Chelm, the wisest of the Chelmites. And one of these wise men, one of the wisest of all of the Chelmites, is Moshe the mathematician. Yes, it was Moshe the mathematician who discovered what makes tea sweet. Now, you probably think that it's the sugar. How wrong you are. It's not the sugar that makes the tea sweet. No, it's the spoon. The spoon is what makes the tea sweet. Now you might think, why put the sugar in at all? Well, Moshe has an answer for that. You put the sugar into the tea to know how long to leave the spoon in it. When the sugar dissolves, you know that the spoon has sweetened the tea enough that you can take the spoon out of the tea. Yes, Moshe was a brilliant man, so it was necessary that his wisdom be passed on to the next generation. So he took on a student. His name was Avi, and he was a bright young man. He studied under Moshe day and night, day and night. And one day, he came to Moshe with a problem. He said, Moshe, I'm a man, I'm grown, but I can't grow a beard. And this was a problem, because as we all know, beards are where wise men keep all of their wisdom. You can't be a wise man if you don't have a beard. So Moshe, he knew the severity of this situation, and he told Avi that he would think about it, he would contemplate, he would ponder the question, and he would find an answer. So when Avi left, Moshe sat in his favorite chair. He leaned back and he started to think, untangling the knots in his beard, trying to unravel the answers. But no sooner had he sat down in his favorite chair than he heard noises coming from outside. The children of the town of Chelm were playing games right outside of his house. Now, on any other day, Moshe, he wouldn't have minded. He probably would have gone out and he would have played with the children. He loved the children of the town of Chelm. But not today. Today he needed to think. He wanted the children to go away, but he didn't want to hurt their feelings. And then he had an answer. He knew what to do. He rushed to the window and he looked outside and he said, Children, what are you doing here? Don't you know what day it is today? A dragon is coming to the town of Chelm. He's coming down the river. Go see the dragon. Well, the children, dragons were interesting and all, but they weren't going to go see a dragon. Dragons were scary. And Moshe realized his mistake, and he said, No, it's a good dragon. He breathes honey cakes, and he grants wishes. A wish-granting dragon was coming down the river of Chelm? Well, the children, they didn't need to hear any more than that. They rushed to the river as fast as they could. And there was silence. Moshe, the mathematician, sat down in his chair to once again think. But no sooner had he sat down and begun to think than he heard more noises coming from his window. So he rushed to his window. He looked outside and he saw all the men and women of Chelm rushing past his house. And he said, Chelmites, what are you doing? The men and women of Chelm, they looked up at Moshe, and one of the men, he said, Moshe, don't you know what day it is today? A dragon is coming down the river of Chelm. A dragon that grants wishes. What a day. What a day indeed. A dragon was coming down the river of Chelm. A dragon that grants wishes. Well, Moshe the mathematician, one of the wisest men of Chelm, he had to be there. He had to see the dragon. So he rushed to his door. He threw on his coat. He threw on his hat, and he was halfway out the door. When he realized that he was the one who made a story about the dragon in the first place. There was no dragon coming down the river of Chelm. So he went back to the window and he looked outside and he said that he had seen enough dragons in his lifetime. He had seen so many wish-granting dragons, he didn't need to see another one. And he told the Chelmites to go on their way. So he sat down in his chair once more to try to think. But no sooner had he sat in his chair than he heard more noise coming from the window. So he rushed to the window. He looked outside and he saw all of the other wise men of Chelm wisely walking by his house. And he said, my friends, my colleagues, where are you going?" And one of the other wise men of Chelm looked up at Moshe and said, "Moshe, don't you know what day it is? Today a dragon is coming down the river of Chelm, a dragon that grants wishes." What a day! What a day indeed! A dragon was coming down the river of Chelm, a dragon that grants wishes. Well, Moshe the mathematician, one of the wisest men of Chelm, he had to be there. He had to see the dragon. So he rushed to the door. He threw on his coat, he threw on his hat, and he was halfway out the door when he realized that he was the one who made up the story about the dragon in the first place. But then again, what are the chances of all the Chelmites, all the wise men of Chelm, being wrong? That wasn't something that could possibly happen. So Moshe, the mathematician, decided that he must be incorrect. He must be wrong. He thought he made up the story about the dragon, but really there was a dragon coming down the river of Chelm, and he, Moshe the mathematician, he had to see this dragon. So he joined the other wise men of Chelm, and together they went down to the river to wait for the dragon. And they waited, and they waited, and they waited some more. And time was passing, the day was growing later. There was no dragon. Well, the men and women of the town of Chelm, they couldn't stand by a river all day. They had important man and woman things to do. So they left. They left the river. And the children, they stayed a while longer, but they had important children things to do. Games weren't going to be played by themselves. They had to leave. So the children, they decided that they would leave the river as well, and they left. But the wise men of Chelm, they could do wise things anywhere, so they didn't have to leave the river, so they stayed there a while longer. But they were getting grumpy, they were getting tired, they didn't want to stand by the river all day waiting for this dragon. So eventually, all of the wise men of Chelm left the river, except for Moshe, the mathematician. He was determined. He was determined to see this dragon. He stood by the river and he continued to wait and wait and wait. And that's just where Avi found him. And Avi went up to Moshe and said, Moshe, I've been looking everywhere for you. Do you have an answer? Do you know why I can't grow a beard? And Moshe, he turned around and he smiled, a big smile, and he said, Avi, I've had so much time to think. It's been so quiet by the river. I know why you can't grow a beard. Because you see, most men take after their fathers and grow beards. You, Avi, take after your mother, and that's why you don't grow a beard. But there was still a problem. Because you can't be a wise man if you don't have a beard. So Avi, he still didn't know what to do. But Moshe had a solution for this as well. He said, Avi, don't despair. Because do you know what day it is today? Today, a dragon is coming down the river of Chelm. A dragon that will grant wishes. Stay here with me, Avi. Wait for the dragon, and you can wish for a beard. Thank you.